Welcome to English Learning Through Stories. Today we have an interesting story about travel, confidence, and a surprising experience. The name of today's story is Lost in London. In this story, you will learn useful English sentences for traveling, asking for directions, meeting new people, and handling unexpected situations. Listen carefully, repeat the sentences, and enjoy the story. My name is Daniel, and I still remember the day when I got lost in London. It was my first visit to the United Kingdom, and I was extremely excited. For many years I had dreamed about visiting London. Whenever I saw pictures of London on the internet or in travel magazines, I imagined myself walking through those beautiful streets, seeing the famous landmarks, and experiencing the culture of this amazing city. London was always a place that fascinated me. Finally, after years of planning and saving money, my dream came true. I booked my flight ticket, packed my bags, and started my journey to London. The night before my flight, I could hardly sleep because I was so excited. I checked my passport several times, arranged my luggage, and made a list of places I wanted to visit. I wanted to see Big Ben, the London Eye, Buckingham Palace, Tower Bridge, and many other famous places. When my airplane landed at Heathrow Airport, I looked outside the window and smiled. I said quietly to myself, "I can't believe I am finally here." As soon as I stepped out of the airport, I felt a different energy around me. The airport was huge. People from different countries were walking around. Some people were speaking different languages, and everyone seemed busy with their own journeys. I collected my luggage and followed the signs to the train station. Before coming to London, I had watched many videos about public transportation, so I knew that London's transport system was one of the best in the world. I bought my ticket and took the train to my hotel. During the journey, I looked outside the window like a child seeing something magical for the first time. I saw beautiful houses, green parks, busy roads, and people traveling to work. Everything looked new and interesting. When I finally reached my hotel, I checked in at the reception. The receptionist smiled and said, "Welcome to London. We hope you enjoy your stay." I replied, "Thank you. I am very excited to explore the city." After entering my room, I placed my luggage near the bed and looked around. The room was comfortable and had a beautiful view of the street. I opened the window and watched London life happening in front of me. People were walking with coffee cups in their hands. Buses were moving on the roads. Cars were passing by, and the city was full of energy. At that moment, I felt very happy. I thought, this is going to be an unforgettable trip. The next morning, I woke up early because I didn't want to waste any time. I quickly got ready, had breakfast at a small cafe near my hotel, and prepared myself for my first adventure in London. The cafe was small but beautiful. The smell of fresh coffee filled the air, and people were sitting quietly, reading newspapers or working on their laptops. I ordered breakfast and tried to start a conversation with the waiter. I said, "Good morning. Could you please suggest something popular here?" The waiter smiled and said, "You can try our traditional English breakfast. Many visitors love it." I decided to try something new. While eating my breakfast, I looked at my map and planned my route. My first destination was Big Ben. When I reached there, I was amazed. I had seen hundreds of pictures of Big Ben, but seeing it in real life was completely different. The huge clock tower stood proudly in front of me. Many tourists were taking pictures, laughing, and enjoying the moment. I also took several pictures. I stood there for a few minutes just looking at the beautiful view. Sometimes we see places in pictures, but experiencing them in reality creates a completely different feeling. After visiting Big Ben, I walked along the River Thames. The weather was perfect. The cool wind touched my face and I felt peaceful. I saw people cycling, families spending time together, and tourists enjoying the beautiful scenery. I stopped at different places to take pictures. Every corner of London looked special. While walking, I found a small street filled with interesting shops. There were bookstores, souvenir shops, and small restaurants. I decided to explore the area. I entered a bookstore because I loved collecting books from different places. Inside the bookstore, everything was quiet and peaceful. I spent almost an hour looking at different books. Finally, I bought a small travel book about London. The shop owner smiled and said, "This book will help you discover many hidden places in London." I thanked him and continued my journey. I was so busy enjoying the city that I didn't notice how far I had walked. And that was the beginning of an unexpected adventure. As I walked farther away from the busy tourist area, the streets became quieter. The large crowds slowly disappeared, and I began to notice small neighborhoods instead of famous landmarks. There were rows of beautiful brick houses with colorful front doors, tiny flower gardens, and narrow streets lined with trees. Children were riding their bicycles, and a few elderly people were walking their dogs. It was a peaceful part of London, and I enjoyed every moment of it. I took out my camera and started taking pictures. I loved photography, and I wanted to capture every beautiful scene. A small bakery caught my attention. The smell of freshly baked bread and sweet pastries filled the air. I couldn't resist walking inside. The bakery was warm and welcoming. A young woman stood behind the counter with a friendly smile. "Good afternoon," she said. "What would you like?" I looked at the display and replied, "Everything looks delicious. What do you recommend?" "If you're visiting London, you should definitely try our chocolate croissant," she said. "It's our best seller." "Then I'll have one, please." She carefully packed the croissant and handed it to me. "Are you visiting from another country?" she asked. "Yes," I answered. "It's my first time in London." "Well, welcome. I hope you enjoy your stay." "Thank you very much." I sat near the window, enjoyed my croissant, and watched people passing by. Life seemed so calm and beautiful. I wasn't thinking about time anymore. I simply wanted to enjoy the city. After finishing my snack, I continued walking. Without realizing it, I had been exploring for almost 3 hours. I looked at my watch and thought it might be a good idea to return to my hotel for a short rest before visiting another attraction in the evening. I reached into my pocket to check the map on my phone. That's when my smile slowly disappeared. The battery indicator showed only 3%. "Oh no," I whispered. I quickly opened the navigation app and typed in the name of my hotel. Before the route could load, the screen suddenly became black. My phone had switched off. For a few seconds, I simply stood there, staring at the blank screen. I pressed the power button again. Nothing happened. I tried once more. Still nothing. "My phone is dead," I said to myself. At first, I wasn't too worried. "I'll remember the way," I thought confidently. I turned around and started walking back. After 10 minutes, I realized something wasn't right. None of the streets looked familiar. The bakery was nowhere to be seen. The bookstore had disappeared. The bridge I had crossed earlier was gone. Every road looked almost the same. Rows of similar buildings stretched in every direction. I stopped walking. I slowly turned around, hoping something would look familiar. Nothing did. A strange feeling started growing inside me. I had absolutely no idea where I was. For the first time that day, I felt nervous. What should I do now? I asked myself. I took a deep breath and tried not to panic. Getting lost in your own city is one thing. Getting lost in another country is completely different. I remembered the advice my father had given me before the trip. "If you ever get lost, don't panic. Stay calm. Someone will always help you if you ask politely." Those words gave me confidence. I looked around carefully. People were walking past me, busy with their own lives. I wanted to ask someone for directions, but I suddenly realized something. I didn't even know my hotel's exact address. I knew its name, but not the street. I searched my backpack, hoping I'd written it somewhere. After a few moments, I found the booking confirmation. I smiled with relief. The hotel address was printed on the paper. "At least I have this," I said happily. Now I only needed someone who could tell me how to get there. I noticed an elderly man sitting on a bench, feeding pigeons. He looked kind and relaxed. I walked toward him. "Excuse me, sir," I said politely. He looked up and smiled. "Yes? I'm sorry to bother you, but I think I'm lost." "It happens," he replied with a laugh. "London is a big city." I showed him the hotel address. He adjusted his glasses and looked carefully. "Oh," he said after a moment, "that's quite far from here." My heart sank. "Can I walk there?" I asked. "You could," he answered, "but it would take more than an hour." "An hour?" I hadn't expected that. "There should be a bus nearby," he continued, "or you can take the underground." "The underground?" He smiled. "You call it the subway in some countries. Here we usually call it the tube." "Oh, I see." He pointed toward a nearby street. "Walk straight for 2 blocks. You'll see a tube station." I thanked him sincerely. "Thank you very much." "You're welcome," he replied warmly. "And don't worry, everyone gets lost at least once." His words made me smile. I walked toward the tube station exactly as he had explained. Soon I saw the famous red and blue underground sign. I felt relieved. Finally, I thought, my problem was almost over. I entered the station. Immediately I realized I had another problem. The underground map looked incredibly complicated. Different colored lines crossed each other in every direction. Blue, red, green, yellow, black, purple, orange. There were dozens of station names. I stared at the map for almost a minute. The more I looked at it, the more confused I became. I have no idea which train I need, I admitted quietly. A young employee noticed me standing there. He walked over with a friendly smile. "You look a little confused," he said. I laughed. "A little? I'm completely confused." He laughed too. "Can I help you?" "Yes, please." I handed him the paper with my hotel address. He studied it for a few seconds. "That's easy," he said confidently. "Take the Central Line for 3 stops, then change to the District Line. After 2 more stops, your hotel is only a 5-minute walk." I listened carefully. "I'm afraid I'll forget." "No problem," he replied. He took a pen and drew a simple route on the back of my booking confirmation. "There you go. Thank you so much." "My pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your stay." As I walked toward the platform, I felt much more relaxed than before. Even though I had been lost, I had already met 3 kind people who were willing to help a stranger without expecting anything in return. For the first time since my phone died, I stopped worrying. Instead, I began appreciating something important. Sometimes the best memories of traveling are not the famous attractions. Sometimes they are the unexpected moments and the kindness of people you meet along the way. Thank you for watching English Learning Through Stories. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new story. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and most importantly, keep speaking English with confidence. See you in the next story. Goodbye.